Flores, and I'm a BFA student at the University of Southern California's Glorya Kaufman School of Dance. Today we are going to be talking to USC Kaufman's Undergraduate Admissions Director, Aubert-Santelli, and the Associate Director of Undergraduate Admissions at USC, Aaron Brown. Today we're going to be lucky enough to hear their top 5 tips on applying to USC Kaufman, specifically regarding the Common Application. Right now we are sitting in the USC Kaufman collaborative space, and this is an amazing space for all of the BFA students to come and collaborate with other artists around campus. Join me in welcoming Ann and Aaron. Thank you guys so much for being here. So now let's get down to the business. What are your top 5 tips to applying to USC Kaufman?
One of the first tips that I often give students is don't be afraid to talk about your academic interests outside of dance.
So you and I both know that I have 1,001 interests. I came into your office day one and was like, I want to do this, and this, and you somehow managed to make that work for me. And I feel like that also really spoke in my academic application, because I also put all of those interests on top of dance in there. So my application was big. Thank you for reading that, Aaron. It was definitely probably something that was hard to read, but I appreciate it.
A second tip that I often provide to students is don't be afraid to use the optional short answer to provide any context about your academic profile.
The additional information section is so important. Anytime that we might have a question about a student's record, we see a grade that we might have a concern about, trend upward, hopefully not downward, that's a great time for you to explain what might have been going on. Are there mitigating circumstances we should take into account when looking at your record?
And because our faculty don't actually review the Common Application, we also on the portfolio have an optional short answer where you can feel free to add that information as well. Another tip I have, and this one can be really hard for dancers because they want to talk about dance so much because they're so passionate, is to be sure to show that they're multifaceted. So share their experiences and other activities that they enjoy outside of dance.
Yeah, the entire Common Application doesn't have to be about dance. Turns out getting admitted to Kaufman is really about the talent and not how many times you mention dance in the application. So talk about other interests that you have. Maybe your essay doesn't have to be about dance, or you can mention all the other things that you're doing in your extracurricular activities too.
So the fourth tip that I would give, and this sounds a little bit basic, but believe it or not, it can be a little bit challenging to track down information. Be sure to stay on top of deadlines or requests for additional information.
That's actually my piece of advice on our website when we have a counselor bio, because you would be surprised at how many students don't actually stay on top of deadlines. But we can't actually read your application or begin to move forward with what we need to do until we have everything. So yes, December 1st is important for your Common App and supplement and the Kaufman portfolio, but also your transcripts, letters of recommendation, SAT or ACT scores. All of that needs to be in.
And don't forget your TOEFL scores or other international examinations if you're an international student. Finally, and most importantly, don't forget to be your most authentic self.
The point of the whole application, really, in terms of the entirety of the Common App and letters of recommendation, is to get to know as much about you as we possibly can to really make an informed decision on your admission to USC, both to Kaufman, but also potentially to other majors at the university.
And even in other parts of your application, including the portfolio or during your live audition, again, just be yourself, because that's who the faculty want to get to know. There's not one type of student admitted to USC, there's not one type of student admitted to Kaufman. It's all about you, so put the best version of you forward. And what some of you might not know is that Aaron and I work very, very closely together in helping to select the final admits to the Glorya Kaufman School of Dance. Do you want to explain the process a little bit?
Sure, so this actually works pretty much in parallel. So we've received the Common App, the USC supplement, transcripts, test scores, letters of recommendation, all of that. Kaufman's received the video supplements, the portfolio. We'll be reading those applications while Ann and the Kaufman team are looking at all of the dance components. There's the audition, obviously. And we come together at the end of the process and basically confer on Ann's recommendations for the most talented dancers. And then we talk about the students who also can be academically successful at USC and ultimately come together with a class of admits.
Thanks again to Ann and Aaron for coming in and sharing their top 5 tips on applying to USC Kaufman, specifically regarding the Common Application. If you have any other questions, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media, go onto our website, and remember that we're always here to answer your questions. Have a great day and dance on.